Coming up on today's Cook and Crave, we got a special treat for you. We are filming live at the workshop. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer, and today we got a guest chef today with us, Joe Schneider of the workshop. He is employed here, and we're also going to introduce the owners of the workshop right away for you as well. If you want to come forward. Ken and Chris Molitor are the new owners of the workshop. They have been owners since April 1st, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and how's everything going?
It's going really well.
Good, good.
Having a lot of fun.
Good, going great and having a lot of fun. So today we got Joe cooking shish kebabs for us, and he's going to show us what best cuts of meat to use. So, are you ready, Joe?
I think I am, actually, yes.
Okay, sounds great. Let's get started.
All right, first thing I'd like to show you here is we have a perfect example of a ribeye steak, a New York strip, and a top sirloin steak. I'm not sure if you can see it with the camera here, but you should be able to see the nice marbling on the ribeye here, which makes for a perfect steak for grilling. Also, you could pan sear this if you don't have a grill at home, finish it in the oven. You could buy a full loin and make your own prime rib. The New York strip, Cadillac of steaks, by far probably the best cut we have in right now. Perfect marbling, very, very good for grilling again. And the top sirloin, kind of our economy class steak here. Very good cut, very lean for the healthy conscious, and a bit cheaper than the other two for those that are looking for a more affordable steak. One thing I did want to let you know about with these steaks is because we cut them so fresh here at the workshop, there is a process these steaks go through called blooming. Now what that is the oxygen actually interacting with the protein in the meat, which creates that brilliant red color, kind of like your shirt there. You want to make sure that you let your steak air out for about 10 minutes before you do anything with it. It has a lot to do with the flavor and texture of the protein in the meat.
Okay.
So we'll move right along now to the sirloin steak here. We're going to be making some skewers for you.
Can I ask one quick question though, Joe, before you move that? You know, like when you're grilling, how much fat do you leave on a steak, like the New York strip or your sirloin there, that you don't have flames flying up at you? What's the best?
Typically a 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
Is about the right amount of fat lip on there. But you'll notice with the sirloin steak there is no fat lip because it is traditionally such a lean cut. So about a 1/4 inch on there, and we cut to that specification. Our steaks are perfect grilling steaks. So
okay, great.
I'll move right along then to the marinade for the sirloin steak here. You'll notice that I've already cubed these up. And in the bowl here, I have some diced ginger, garlic, and kiwi fruit all ready to go in here.
Okay.
So I'll just add the sirloin to this. Okay, now that we've added the sirloin to the bowl, we're going to add about 2/3 a cup of soy sauce to the mix here. Just enough to get a decent covering over the meat.
Okay.
Now you'll notice with a lot of marinades that you might see people add oil to it. I don't do that because when you get it on the grill, that oil tends to flame up quite a bit, and I don't want any fires happening.
Okay.
So now we'll set this aside to rest for about 10 minutes, and we're going to talk about the types of skewers that you're going to be using. Personally, I prefer metal skewers for 2 reasons. One, unlike the wood ones, they typically, they're not going to catch fire on you. And also because they're metal, they're going to transfer heat and cook from the inside out, so you'll avoid issues like having underdone chicken or underdone beef, depending on how you like your meat done.
Okay.
If you do get the bamboo ones, however, it is a good idea to let those sit in cold water for about ½ an hour before you do it for 2 reasons. One, if they're dry and you push anything through, that wood's going to splinter out on you.
Okay.
The other reason too is that the water soakage of the wood will help to prevent any type of a flame up on you. So what we're going to do then is start making some skewers here. We're going to start with the beef ones. And typically what I like to do for beef is just a really, really basic skewer. The wonderful thing about these is that there's no textbook way on doing it. You can really do it any way that you want to with any ingredients, but I would like to emphasize fresh ingredients. I got all of this produce fresh this morning from local stores, so you can find everything for these recipes at your local provider. So we'll just start with meat like this.
Well, I think that's probably the most important part, that, you know, sometimes you can watch cooking shows and everything looks great, but you can't buy it locally.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, what point would there be in me cooking foie gras when you're not going to find it around here
Right.
anywhere, you know? So we just like to stick with things that we can find local. So you can see here that there's really no rhyme or reason to how you skewer this. You know, just go ahead and do it any way that you want.
Well, and when you have different skewers, depending on what your family tastes are, you're going to put, if somebody doesn't like peppers or onions, you can skewer it with something else, more fruit or
Absolutely.
vegetables.
I know my wife in particular is allergic to peppers, so this is a bit of a treat for me.
Glad we could accommodate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So we'll finish these up here real quick like. Again, one thing you want to remember when you're doing skewers is that it's important to have the meat and all the vegetables cut about the same size. The purpose for that is cooking time. You don't want to have a shriveled up little piece of mushroom and a medium rare piece of meat unless that's how you like it. So. All right, now that the beef skewers are done, we're going to move over to the chicken skewers. And the wonderful thing about this marinade is that to use it for chicken is really easy. You just need to add a little bit of sugar to it.
Okay.
And it becomes almost kind of like a teriyaki marinade at that point.
Okay.
So I'll just add a little bit of sugar to the marinade that I had used for the beef.
So just a couple tablespoons.
Yeah, just not really a whole lot at all.
Okay.
For the 2/3 cup soy sauce that you use, I would say maybe 2/3 tablespoon is all that's really
Okay, so
required
not much
for
at
that.
all.
No, not at all. And then with the chicken, again, you want to go just a little bit longer on the soak time. So for this one, I would probably suggest 15 to 20 minutes actual marinade time rather than the beef, how that went 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. Is that because beef is more porous, or what is the reasoning that you would have to marinate chicken longer?
Well, the chicken is a much more blander meat, and I want to impart that flavor into the chicken a little bit better. The nice thing about chicken is that it will really take on any flavor that you try to impart onto it.
Okay.
So that's why I let that soak just a little bit longer to get those flavors really acting up inside the meat.
Okay.
All right, so now that the chicken has had an opportunity to marinate, we're actually going to start to assemble the skewers now. And the process is very similar to the beef skewers. You know, just kind of add anything you want on there. This time I'm going to be using some pineapple. Grilled pineapple is just so wonderful. It's got an excellent sweet flavor to it. The caramelization from the grill really brings that out.
Awesome. So that's mainly the main difference in ingredients that you use on your skewers versus the steak going to the chicken.
Yeah, exactly. That, and then the marinade as well. I add a little bit of sugar to that just to get it a little bit more sweeter, so it's more of a teriyaki glaze on there.
Okay.
And you'll get a chance to see what I'm talking about when you try it.
Okay, and I see you're using yellow peppers instead of the red peppers. Is that just specifically for chicken, or do you just like to vary it up a little?
Just change things up a little bit, you know. I mean, when you're eating food, you eat with your mouth, your eyes, and your nose. And to make something visually appealing is going to add a lot to the party, I think. So
Okay.
I like to get a variety of colors in there. But that's my personal preference. And you don't have to use a red onion. You could use a sweeter onion, like a white onion is a bit sweeter. I just like to use the red ones again because of the color.
Okay.
So we'll just finish these up real quick like.
I like using the purple onion for salads too. That makes awesome summer salads.
Oh yeah, like for Greek salad with the feta cheese, and oh yeah, that's really nice. Really nice on there. There's the red onion is actually pretty versatile, most often in for grilling purposes and for salads and things of that nature. So again, assembling them, basically mix matching anything that you really want on there. And now that we got these done, we're actually going to start grilling.
All right, sounds great.
So a good temperature to go by, turn your grill on high and let that thing get up to temperature before you actually add the skewers onto the grill. Then go ahead, toss those on there, and then turn it down to medium and let it close.
Okay.
you want to be paying a little bit more attention to skewers versus if you were just cooking a steak. And the reason for that is the vegetables that are on there. When they begin to release their juices, there's a chance that they could char and burn on the outside, which you're going to get a certain amount of that, but you don't want to get so much that you're just eating burnt vegetable.
Right,
So,
right. You want to enjoy the vegetables as well as the meat.
exactly, and that's why we tried to cut the vegetables and the meat at approximately the same size so that they have even cooking times.
Okay. Do we need to turn this down at all?
Nope, that's set right where she needs to be.
All right, sounds great. We'll let that cook up. Okay, Joe, I think you're telling me that these are about ready to get off the grill?
Yep, I think they're looking pretty done, so
All
let's go
right.
ahead and pull these off. Now, one thing I want to mention is you're going to notice that some of these vegetables are charred slightly, but that's normal, particularly when you're talking about cooking with the grill. But don't worry about that. That's going to add a lot of flavor to the dish, actually.
Okay. Now, I mean, we did grill these up. How long do you cook on one side, and how often do you turn skewers so you don't overcook it?
Well, about 2 minutes a side, turning 4 times. If you go about 2 minutes, that's typically about the right amount of time. Now, if your chicken pieces are a little too big and you're worried about maybe it's not cooked enough, what you can do is either throw those in the oven for a little bit and let those finish off, or if you've got a second rack on your grill, you can put them up on the second rack to use a little bit of indirect heat, and that works as well for the beef as well. I like mine medium to medium rare. Some people don't like that. They like their meat well done, and that would be an option for you there.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and give these a shot.
All
I'm
right,
excited.
they look wonderful. They smell great. So I will let you go at it there.
All right, now everybody wonders, should I just bite this thing and eat?
You might burn yourself.
I just like to pull it all off. Nice and easy.
Now, I don't know if we talked about it. Do you spray the skewers like with Pam or some cooking spray so that food doesn't stick?
No, you shouldn't have to. Actually, the natural juices in the vegetables and the protein should be enough to keep them off.
Okay.
You may, however, have to watch how long they're grilling for. If we can get a shot in on this piece of chicken here, you'll notice how it's got a nice caramelization. You can definitely tell that it's been grilled quite well. So what you want to do is look for that, and then it should pull right off of the grill without any issues.
Okay.
The beef, just like cooking a steak, pretty much. You don't really have to worry so much about this product sticking.
Okay.
So
And you can kind of, like we were talking about, you cook your beef to how you like it, medium well done.
Exactly. Just a little slippery. Just kind of keep in mind that the longer you cook them, the more char you're going to get on those vegetables. That's why I always suggest people finish them off in the oven or on the second rack of their grill. Just that way you're not getting, just burnt, mushy vegetables on your kebabs then. So let's give these a try. I want to try the beef.
All right. I'm all out for that. Oh, looks wonderful. I got to try some vegetables here.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. And this chicken is cooked perfectly too. The one thing that I notice a lot is people are really scared about eating undercooked chicken for good reason with the salmonella poisoning and everything, but there's nothing worse than an overcooked chicken breast.
Oh, it gets hard and tough.
Try that chicken out.
I'll try a little piece here. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, do you want to come cook for me in my house? Because I need a chef.
Are you paying?
Certainly. All right. To get these recipes, please go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com, and please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. And thank you so much, Joe, for being our guest chef today.
No problem.
And to the Workshop as being our sponsor.
Okay.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.